Good evening. Welcome to the 10 o'clock news headlines here on NBC Television. I'm Franklin Thomas. Prime Minister Nsangula is urging stakeholders to explore new avenues of combating the scourge. This should include citizens' arrest and 100% protection for whistleblowers. He said this when he addressed the opening session of the All Africa Conference on Fraud and Corruption in the capital today. The 2009 World Corruption Perceptions Index showed Somalia topping the list, with Sudan and Chad occupying positions number 4 and 6 respectively, while Namibia stood at 48 and Botswana as the least corrupt African country. Corruption can be in the form of money laundering, bribery, especially in the awarding of tenders or rights, or financial pressure. Prime Minister Nsangula said the most effective way of combating fraud and corruption was when public, private and civil society organizations joined hands in the fight while protecting whistleblowers and authorizing citizens' arrest of the culprits. The former president of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, and the Speaker of the Namibian National Assembly, Dr. Theuben Gudderup, says he has lifted the IPU beyond what it was before his tenure. Dr. Gudderup ended his 3-year IPU presidency in Bern, Switzerland last week, and he is proud of his achievements during his term of office. Dr. Gudderup was elected IPU president in October 2008 in Geneva, Switzerland, succeeding Pier Ferdinando Cassini of Italy. He took over the position when the world was entering major problems such as the recession that caused economic and unemployment problems worldwide. At that time, Israel had also just invaded the Gaza Strip, causing major destruction. The Speaker of the Moroccan House of Representatives, Abdelwahid Radi, was elected IPU president for the next 3 years. About 1,000 Ausenkirch residents in the Karas region handed over a petition yesterday demanding better basic services from government. Their spokesperson, Crispin Muhinda, claimed that they were still living in appalling conditions without basic amenities 21 years after independence. Muhinda said Ausenkirch residents were also entitled to basic services just like all other Namibians. He went on to demand the construction of a proper clinic and a daycare center at the settlement with qualified personnel to cater for its more than 30,000 residents. Karas Governor Bernardus Swartboy, who received the petition, told them that the land they wanted the government to develop into a town belonged to a private individual. He said sewerage ponds, streets, electrical poles, housing urban and business plots had been earmarked for development at a cost of $40 million, which the government did not have at the moment. A 2-week seminar organized by the George Washington University and the Association of Public Health Laboratories in partnership with the Polytechnic of Namibia started in Windhoek today. It aims to equip local laboratory technicians with skills and knowledge that would help advance African health systems to international standards. Senior directors of public health laboratories from 14 sub-Saharan African countries are attending this first ever seminar in Africa. The rector of the Polytechnic of Namibia commended the George Washington University for sharing its knowledge with Namibia in particular and Africa in general. Health Minister Dr. Richard Kamwe said Namibia had managed to put over 80% of people under antiretroviral treatment, over 85% TB patients, and had also reduced malaria-related deaths drastically. He said more training was, however, needed to improve the standard of treatment. Rescue teams in Turkey continue to search for people trapped under rubble after a strong earthquake hit the eastern Van region yesterday. According to that country's interior minister, some 265 people died and 1,140 were injured in the 7.2 magnitude quake. Nearly 1,000 buildings have been destroyed in the disaster zone, with the town of Erkis the worst hit. The death toll is expected to rise as outlying areas are reached. Rescuers pulled out several survivors from beneath the ruins of collapsed buildings in Erkis today, including one man who called for help on his mobile phone. And in sports news, Namibian rugby captain Jacques Burger has been voted one of the top 5 players at the 2011 Rugby World Cup showpiece that ended in New Zealand yesterday. The other 4 players are New Zealand's Israel Dagg and Jerome Kaino, Wales' Jamie Roberts, and Ireland's Sean O'Brien. Berger deserves the accolade in view of his splendid defending skills and the number of tackles he made at the tournament. The 28-year-old rugby captain led his troops by example and threw himself into the tackle 64 times during the 4 matches his team played against Samoa, Wales, Fiji and South Africa. He's one of the few locals playing professional rugby and last year was voted Player of the Year by his English champions club, Saracens. And those are the stories that made headlines tonight here on NBC. We thank you so much for watching. Good night.